Okay, so I think we are ready for the next session. So very warm welcome from our end. We want to give you a little bit of an insight about our smart factory approach to drive efficiency gain in the manufacturing space. And I'm very delighted, and thanks to AWS for having us here on stage. And as you see, we are quite a lot of people based on our collaborative approach between Deloitte, AWS and Snowflake. But let me introduce myself quickly. So I'm Christian Röse. I'm part of our Deloitte Consulting AI and data team, and I'm supporting our clients as a data management SME and solution architect on the one hand side, and on the other hand side, I'm also keeping the role as a lead alliance partner in our collaboration with Snowflake. And as we know, Snowflake has a broad ecosystem of partners, so hence we brought some of them in our Power of Three initiative with us here today. Oliver, handing over to you.
Yeah, so welcome also from my side. My name is Oliver Bendick. I'm leading our industrial practice at Deloitte, and have been in the industry for more than 25 years, and happy to be here today.
So I'm Magnus Ackerson, and I lead manufacturing solutions at AWS. What that means is that I work with some of our partners that are with us here today on solving some of the most pressing problems in the industry. I'm very excited to be here and talk about what we're doing with industrial data.
Thanks, Magnus. Hi, Pugal Janakiraman. I'm Field CTO for manufacturing. I'm responsible to build higher order solutions on Snowflake to digitally transform customers' journey around manufacturing and topics like that. Excited to work with AWS and Deloitte teams here, so looking forward. Thank you.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
So a little bit of the glimpse of what we brought with us today. So what is the potential which we see in the manufacturing space? That's our introduction by Oliver. And then we move over to deep dive into our approach, implementing a smart factory data platform based on AWS and utilizing the capabilities of Snowflake. So a little bit about the architecture you will see, which leads us then to the way to showcase and give you an insight about our use case, which we brought to Hannover Messe, and which you can also see at our Deloitte booth right next on the other side here, to understand production anomalies supported by an AI co-pilot.
Yeah, so we have already introduced ourselves. So if we move to the next slide, let me start with, why are we up here, right? And there are a couple of things that you're all aware of. There is a huge potential in data, but if we are honest, I would say we are not really leveraging the potential of the insights today, right? I mean, if we look a little bit back, how did that work traditionally? We had data all over. We had the data at any time, right? We're increasing the amount of data that we're producing, but we had the data everywhere. And what are we doing today? I guess you all are in the same situation. You are building the different systems, right? Upgrading your ERP system, introducing an MES system, and so on, all those different systems, and you have a massive amount of data available, but the data doesn't help us, right? It's the inside out of the data that we have to create. And I would say that most of the companies are still in this situation where we create the data, where we build the systems to have the data. But the biggest challenge is how do we connect all of the data in order to drive insights? So what is it that most of you, if not all of you, are working on, obviously, is how do we centralize the data? How do we build this one truth about the data and the insights in order to really take action? Because we don't do this just for the data, we do it in order to make our production more smart, in order to be faster, to produce the right products for our customers, and this is where we are all working on, right? And this is where we need to go. This is where we are all working about. How do we derive the insights? How do we turn the data into value for our production and for our teams? There are challenges, obviously. It's a huge amount of data. The data is somewhere in the different systems, and we have to make sure we have access and we have it all accurate at the right time. So this is kind of the challenge that we face, and what we want to talk about today is how can you work on overcoming those challenges and really get into a situation to use the data and take good decisions. And this is what we want to talk about now.
Yeah. So we all know there's vast amounts of data on the shop floor and there's a lot of potential, but first things first. First you have to actually get to this data. And we all, I think, have seen over, I'd say, the decades that this problem is actually a really hard problem to solve for. And truly is something that we need to continue to move the needle on in the industry. And so at AWS, we believe we can solve this problem when our partners come together and work together to solve this on behalf of our joint customers. Especially, for example, like building the plumbing that's needed to actually be able to connect, collect, and contextualize your data, make it interesting and accessible and available for consumption by multiple use cases and deriving insights at scale. And this is actually not an easy problem, and not one person can solve that, or no one partner can solve that in and of themselves. So what we're helping our partner system to do is to orchestrate or bring in their specific specialties and capabilities and integrate together and build this plumbing, so again, so that our customers don't have to. So that customers don't have to spend weeks on end trying to build those basic connections and wrangle data manually, and then they go move on to the next use case and have to start all over again. So we're working with partners such as Ignition and HighByte, for example, in the case of HighByte, to allow process engineers who have the domain expertise to curate their data sets and make them available in the Snowflake platform in a way that, again, you can do it through technical integration that pre-exists, and again, so our customers don't have to do that work by themselves. So really what we're doing here is we're essentially taking what in one way, in some ways, in the past was an IT platform, and we're adding partners around that platform to actually bring in OT data sets to really bring manufacturing use cases to cloud in the Snowflake and manufacturing data cloud, which is really, really exciting to us. So this is just a good example, I think, of what it really means, that when we bring partners together in such a way, we can really sort of, again, bring the OT, the ETL for OT together in a way where we can take all these industrial data assets, time series data, CSV files, photos, all kinds of records that sit in proprietary protocols in the shop floor, and really bring that to Snowflake at scale. And what we do then is that we provide this pre-integration. Again, I really want to emphasize what's really is key here is that when you have a problem on the shop floor, you have a lean event, you have a Kanban event or continuous improvement, and you're trying to get to result quickly, you want to be able to solve for that problem right away by the people who know their data sets in their specific domain. You don't want to have to call IT and wait 4 weeks and go build custom scripts and functions. Again, you really want to be able to move fast. And this is, again, what we've been able to do with this integration with our partners, moving data into Snowflake, which is really, really exciting to us. And of course, once you have your data in here, we get back to Oliver's points, right? We really want to eliminate and remove this sort of data acquisition and contextualization problem and move quickly to the point of being able to leverage your data as an asset at scale and to derive insights to take proactive action. So we're very, very excited about our partnership with Snowflake, with HighByte, and Ignition to really make this become a reality today. With that, Gal, I think you have some interesting details for us.
Thanks, Magnus. So again, I think as Magnus talked about it, Oliver talked about it, the positioning of Snowflake is as an unified namespace where you can bring in data from IT world as well as the OT, and in some use cases, third-party data as well, into the data platform for running insights. Again, as a data platform, we have a highly performant database engine in the back end, which can handle billions and trillions of records for deriving deeper insights, which customers are expecting. And that includes both transactional data coming in from IT system, as well as time series data coming in from OT system. So I think that's the key part of the Snowflake from a data platform point of view. Once the data is in place where you can leverage both IT and OT, now comes the fun part, which is deriving deeper insights. Whether you are trying to do maintenance use cases or trying to do a root cause analysis around why there is a drop in quality, so you have to run analytics. It can be data visualization, as simple as that. We have Streamlit as an UI layer to build database visualization like OEE reports, dashboarding capabilities, stuff like that. If you want to run AI and ML-based model to do deeper insights, we support that with Snowflake, with Snowpark and Cortex kind of capability. Added to that, now there is a lot of interest with customers to leverage LLMs to navigate data better instead of humans trying to go through millions and millions of tags and billions of records. You leverage LLM capability to navigate seamlessly, which is what Deloitte has done to build a Copilot. So all of it involves running the insights and analytics within the data platform. You don't ship the data out, because shipping this volume of data is not an easy affair. There is also a governance issue, security issue, there is cost factor associated with it. We eliminate all of it by bringing the compute next to the data. That's what Snowflake brings to the table as an unified namespace to derive this level of insights customers are expecting on this large volume of data coming in from hundreds of factory facilities, millions of machinery spread around the world. Having said that, this is not a trivial thing to accomplish. There is a lot of detail behind how we accomplished it. As a data platform, we have been ingesting IT data for nearly a decade. We have been doing it pretty well with a lot of integrations, multiple approaches to make it happen. The new thing which happened in Snowflake in the last 1 year is around OT data ingestion. Again, for that, we partnered with amazing partners like HiByte, who play best-in-class role in contextualization of this data at the edge, because end of the day, running production is a hybrid architecture. We are a cloud company, so you need an edge strategy as well. We work with AWS, we work with players like HiByte to provide that edge capability to seamlessly contextualize, persist that asset models, plant floor information, line hierarchy into Snowflake to democratize the data, to get that insights what customers have been asking for. Again, there is no one-size-fits-all approach in manufacturing. We have to support a whole bunch of brownfield equipment, whole bunch of technologies to ingest data. We do that with the partnership, thanks to AWS, who brought an amazing partner ecosystem, Deloitte as a system integrator as well. Now, once the data reaches Snowflake with capabilities like whether it is AWS IoT Core or whether it is Snowpipe Streaming, there are multiple ways to get data into Snowflake. We support different protocols, MQTT, publish by exception. These are all the things what we believe in as well, where the edge is the master. You persist the asset model into Snowflake. Once the data reaches Snowflake, you have the complete digital twin of manufacturing facility with zero coding set up in Snowflake data tables, which you can navigate seamlessly with solutions like Copilot built by Deloitte. In fact, there is a demo running, which I saw a couple of minutes back, super cool on how you navigate the data. So, and added to that, whole bunch of other data products you can build seamlessly with Snowflake by bringing in third-party data, PLM data, ERP data to build OEE solution, or when there is a drop in OEE, how do you do a root cause analysis? Every possible insights are possible with analytics capability built into Snowflake as well. So that's what we bring to the table as a data platform. In addition to that, just to summarize, we provide this data democratization capability to bring in IT and OT data with partnership with pre-built solutions available and on a highly scalable cloud platform like AWS. And now you can derive deeper insights on the data sets with analytical capabilities we provide. You don't need to ship the data out into a third-party tool and pay for additional compute, as well as get into security issues. And added to that, you can also do much, much better democratization of technology. It's not just democratization of data into cloud. Now with capabilities like LLM, you can seamlessly navigate the data without going through an IT exercise to build SQL coding or with UI capabilities like that. So that's what we bring to the table. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Christian.
Yeah, so based on the architecture we have just seen, what we brought with us for Hannover Messe in this year is the use case, which you can see here on top, as one example on how we can leverage data in a smart way to utilize our smart factory data platform approach. I think we all do believe that the potentials in the digitalization of end-to-end production processes in the manufacturing space is enormous. And in order to make smart use of data, we are then also able to leverage cost reduction potentials, to gain more efficiency in our operational processes. And this is one example on how it could look like. What we need in order to do so is, from our point of view, a very much foundational and scalable unified data platform. And this is what we set up based on the services of AWS, where we, in our showcase here, as a data gateway, use the AWS native services to incorporate, really, and if you take just 1 second, when you take a look at the Deloitte booth, here you see the Festro production line, which produces tons of data, and this is integrated via AWS in our Smart Factory data platform based on Snowflake, and brings us in the situation to realize and apply AI, GenAI features which help us make the processes more lean. So based on the data core, this is implemented in Snowflake. We are able to organize all the various data products coming from raw data, from the IT systems, coming from the raw data from sensors, from the OT data sources. It makes us then able to create this unified data platform for advanced analytical purposes. In our case, what we used, based on the new features from Snowflake for GenAI, is Snowflake Cortex, which helps us to interpret and to create these insights the colleagues were also talking about, based on the unified data in Snowflake, and helps then, example given, a technician in the shop floor and the operations space to analyze production anomalies in their systems, in their processes. A lot of slides, as you have seen, but also on the other hand side, I kindly invite you to just take some time, come over to our Deloitte booth, where our team is also able to present the showcase to you and the use case we implemented. For now, we just brought a little bit of a video where you can see the data application on Streamlit, which is acting on all of the data. So the reactor is one part of the machine, where you see all the detected anomalies with further detailed information. The sensor information are also visualized using the standardized capabilities from Snowflake Streamlit. The technician might just select the area of anomalies which is most interesting for him to further analyze it, what is the current state of observed anomalies, and then he can just get into the conversation with the GenAI Copilot. Here we just realized some predefined questions, but you can also freely chat with the Streamlit application to gather the backgrounds of an observed anomaly, also to get further insights automatically generated out of the LLM capabilities from Snowflake, and then deep dive more and more into the analysis state in order to understand what should I as a technician do in order to solve this issue and make the production line smoothly running up again. So here we just see that another question has been addressed to the bot, asking for the history of the solved incidents. And here you can also see the integration of IT data, where we integrated the information from the service requests for solved issues in the past. And this also helps the technician here to also get into action and increase his efficiency in order to do his maintenance job. So like I said, please feel free, come over to our stage. Our colleagues are welcoming you to also present this solution to you live in action. And with that, handing over to Oliver.
So hopefully you're now thinking, this is exactly what I need, right? This is what I'm looking for. But I could imagine there's also a question on your mind, is like they're calling it now the power of three. We have already a lot of IT systems. We have a partner working with us. Why do we need now, the power of three? Why do we need three partners? So, Puga, what is the value add of Snowflake as a cloud diagnostic platform you bring to the table, and why do companies need this combination of capabilities?
Sure. So like I summarized, to summarize pretty much what I talked about, the value proposition Snowflake brings to the table is a unified namespace, which facilitates IT and OT convergence in a highly performant analytical environment where you don't have to ship the data out, you can still analyze, and also we have built integrations with edge, hardware, machinery, IT systems to democratize the data seamlessly into our platform, where you can get deeper insights without having to ship the data around. So that's the biggest value proposition. Again, to summarize, we position Snowflake as a unified namespace, which is going to facilitate IT and OT convergence for smart manufacturing use cases.
Okay.
Yeah.
Magnus, you're seeing a lot of use cases from different companies around the world. So with the manufacturing companies here in the room, what are the 1, 2, 3 top use cases that you see where it makes sense for manufacturing companies to get started?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to basics, if you will. So, I mean, I come back to the basic sort of top root causes of OEE, availability, performance, and quality, and really understanding what's causing your performance and availability issues in production. What's the root causes, the quality problems? And it really comes down to some fundamental issues. Typically what we see is, are you maintaining your equipment properly? Are you optimizing your maintenance schedule? Do you have the right countermeasures in place to avoid defects down the line? What have you? So at the end of the day, we're solving for the same problems as we've always solved for in manufacturing. Not much has changed in that regard. I think what is changing is that, you know, this demo is a good use case, if you will, of what we didn't show in the old school approach was the 95 steps to get there, right? Extract your data, curate it, is it good, is it bad, train the model, and before you know it, weeks go by. And what we're trying to really do is to really accelerate the value to acceleration to address those core use cases by being able to make data available, meaningful, highly contextualized, and crucially reusable at scale for multiple use cases. And that's really where we see the difference happening in industry to really go faster.
Thank you, Magnus. And to summarize it, but also it may be on your mind now. It makes all sense, right? So Christian, you know, if we made a good job and people here in the room are now saying, you know, I would like to do this, what would be a typical approach how you would take companies in order to get to such a platform?
Yeah. So you might perceive Deloitte as one of the implementation partners of AWS, respectively also our partnership with Snowflake, but Deloitte is even more. And in an ideal situation where we can already start our joint journey is to advise you with our Deloitte experience and experts from the industrial manufacturing space already at this stage when you defined your strategy, when you want to make or to turn the strategy into action, realize first use cases, and we as a team with our industry experts and also our data AI knowledge and experience can support you in evaluating the right use cases, evaluate the benefits of our smart factory data platform approach, and guide you through this advisory and strategy phase to the implementation stage, where we are also very much collaborating with our partners from AWS and Snowflake to realize first use cases in a POC or MVP stage. And then we also continue to support your journey during set up the solution in the go-live situation on production and support also your operational processes in the operate stage. So very much, as you hear it, an end-to-end perspective where we as consulting firm can support you, can help you in collaboration with our partners from AWS and Snowflake.
Okay, thank you very much. So I hope that we not only dumped additional data and information on you, but we're able to create some insights for your thinking. If you're interested, the colleagues are here on stage. Go to the different booths that they mentioned. Thank you very much for attention and look forward to engage in a dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you.